Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Nisi. Wanted to do a video this afternoon and kind of go into a topic that everyone is familiar with, but I wanted to give you a different approach and maybe shed some light on the Great Flood, or as I like to call it, the Great Deluge, is what it's known by. I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about a being by the name of Utanapishi. He's also known by Ziusudra. He's also known by Atrahasis. And more importantly, here in the West, he is known by Noah. So as you see, he has 4 different names. And based on the information that I've pieced together, and as well as Gerald Clark and Billy Carson's and a ton of other seekers of knowledge and folks who have written great books on, I wanted to just read out to you a couple of excerpts or nuggets from each of these great epics. The first one I want to read to you from is, I'm sorry, my contact is sticking, so bear with me, you guys. The first one that I want to read to you from is from the King James Version of the Bible. And I'm dropping down to Genesis 6, chapter 6, and I'm going to pick up at verse 1. Okay, so if you guys have your Bibles, grab that. And again, I'm going to be reading from 3 different epics: the King James Version Bible, the story of the Epic of Gilgamesh, and the Atrahasis. Okay, in the King James Version, it reads, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Key thing, let's underline that in yellow. Yet his days shall be 120 years. No, remember that. Remember that, okay? There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they were bare children to them, and the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made him on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of this earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord." Those are the generations of Noah. Now, I'm going to drop down and a few verses. I'm still on chapter 6, but I'm picking up where it says on chapter 17, it says, "And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons and thy wife and thy sons' wives with thee. And every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort, shall thou bring into the ark, and to keep them alive with thee, thy shall be male and female." And then he goes into say what he wants as far as how he wants the ark. Prior to that, he talks about how he wants it built, specific wood, specific measurements, as you guys know. Then as you drop down to like verses 20 and on above, still on chapter 6, it talks about how he wants the animals collected, what kind, and the food and what should be gathered up, okay? That is coming from the King James Version, okay? Now, when we go to the Epic of Gilgamesh, okay? And I'm reading from tablet 10. This is what I found. I guess I should go into a little backdrop of who Gilgamesh was. I will repost that video so that you guys can look at League Projects information as well as Gerald Clark's, but just a just a quick blurb on Gilgamesh. He was known as I guess you could say, a tyrant king, okay? And of course, Gilgamesh was the king of the city of Uruk, Uruk, and that would have been, of course, over in Africa, in Iraq, okay? Everything, when they touched down in Iraq. And when I say they, I mean the extraterrestrials, okay? I think I've established that with you guys, that I'm showing you similarities, and I am connecting the dots for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about, okay? So Gilgamesh was the king of the city of Uruk, and and he was a post-Diluvian king, okay? Post-Diluvian meaning after the flood. And so he was the last great king to write, I'm gonna just say Nisi style. He wrote his memoirs. He wrote his journey and his life and what he went through. And now the scholars, the mainstream academia, as I like to call them, because you guys know how I feel about that. But mainstream academia has deemed these epics, or these clay tablets that were discovered in the 1800s, they have deemed these tablets as myths, okay? And if you followed me and you followed some of the folks that I aspire to be and learn from, and seek the knowledge from and learn on my own, is that really quickly, the clay tablets that were made back thousands and thousands of years ago, it's not like today where we can go jump on our laptop and write out crank out a story and print it off the laptop, or put it on our phone and send it to someone via email. It's not like that. These people, they want to build up this perception that they wrote stories down on clay tablets. I'm here to tell you, from what I've understand and my knowledge basis, those were legitimate clay tablets. They didn't make this crap up, okay? On the walls in Egypt and all over the pyramids all over the world, there's thousands upon thousands of stories and etchings and artifacts that were found. And it's like they pick and choose what they want you to know as far as what's real or what they deem as fake or a myth. So keep that in mind, okay? This story is deemed a myth, but I dare say that the actual city is still in existence today. It's in ruins, but it is still there in Iraq, okay? All right, you can look it up for yourself on Google Maps. But backdrop, let me continue. Don't want to get off point. It's the EMF or the 5G messing with my brain right now. So let me get on point. So basically, this guy was known as a tyrant king, and he went on this, I'm not going to say mystical journey, but he went on this journey for what he deemed after a while as immortality. Okay, he was a king and he was looking for immortality. Now he found out, okay, this other gentleman, or another king, and this was post-Diluvian, after the flood, he found out that this other king, probably about 130 to 140 miles away, he was deemed also a king, and he was known as I'm going to break it down and say in layman's terms, he was known as a immortal or a demigod. Okay, so he was going to go to this king and ask him for the secret to immortality. Okay, I'm just setting this up. You guys can get the epic, read it for yourself. I fast forwarded or jumped to clay tablet 10 and 11 to get the information, because it goes through a lot of backdrop and it goes through a big story, and we're going to fast forward to that. So I'm jumping down to tablet 10, where he goes and he meets this gentleman that he calls Utanapishi, or he's also known as Atrahasis as well, okay? This is another post-Diluvian king that he's going to see 100 and something miles away to get the secret for immortality. We're always searching for that Garden of Eden and tree immortality, how to live forever. So this is what he's doing, okay? So he goes to him to the town of, let's see. He goes to the town of Shurupak. Bear with me for these names because they're a little tongue twisterish. And he says to him, "The town of Shurupak, a city well known to you, which stands on the banks of the river of Euphrates. This city was old. The gods were on it." Okay, so now basically what I just read to you, let me back up. When Gilgamesh gets to Atrahasis or Utapishti welcomes it in. They start talking. They walk around, sit down, whatever kings do. And that's when he goes into the story with Gilgamesh. And he says to Gilgamesh, "Let me disclose, O Gilgamesh, a matter most secret to you. I will tell a mystery of the gods." Okay. He says, "The town of Shuruppak, a city well known to you, which stands on the banks of the river Euphrates. This city was old. The gods once were in it. When the great gods decided to send down the deluge," okay, flood, key point, okay, "their father Anu swore on an oath, and their council, the hero Enlil, their chamberlain, the god Ninurta, and their sheriff, the god Enugu. Princely Ea, or as we'd like to call him, Enki, and he is also known as God in the Old Testament, him and his brother Enlil. Princely Ea swore with them also, repeating their words to a fence made of reed. O fence of reed, O wall of brick, hear this, O fence, pay heed, O wall. O man of Shuruppak, son of Umbar Tutu, demolish the house and build a boat, abandon wealth and seek survival. Spurn property, save life. Take on board the boat all living seed. The boat you will build, her dimensions shall be equal. Her length and breadth shall be the same, covered with the roof like an ocean below." Excuse me. "I understand, and I spoke to Ea, my master. I obey, O master. What thus you told me, I understood, and I shall do." So basically, he's setting this up. He's telling him, when Gilgamesh gets there, he's telling him that his master Enki, the Lord, the Father, the God, came to him and spoke to him behind a reed hut. Now, this is interesting. So if you start reading the text and you start comparing them, what I'm understanding from this is that the Anunu, or the Anunnaki, had a council meeting, and because of all the stuff that was going on at the time with the killing, the Nephilim coming down and taking wives, creating offspring, and that's probably where you're getting all the dinosaurs and all these crazy creatures at the time. The Watchers came down, and so I guess it grieved the creator, so his brother Enlil and Enki, it grieved them so that they went back to the council and they decided to flood the earth. Okay, this is the setup. So now we've read from the King James Version. I gave you the chapter and the verses. Okay, we've read from the Epic of Gilgamesh, and now I'm going to read from the Atrahasis, and this is just a smidge. Okay, so you're going to see the similarities in these stories. All right. So they say, and I'm paraphrasing and I'm dropping down, and I'm not reading the whole thing through. I'm just picking up certain verses. Okay, but I implore you guys to get copies of these books. Okay, so it says in this portion of the Atrahasis, it says, "We, the great Anunu, all of us, agreed together on a plan." Remember what I said? They had a council meeting. They were getting tired of the humans. They were getting tired of the Nephilim and all the violence and all the killing. So they got together and called a council. "We, the great Anunu, all of us, agreed together on a plan. And On and Ishkar were to guard above. I was to guard earth below. Where you went, you were to undo the chain and set us free. You were sent to release produce for the people. You were to exercise control by holding the balance here on earth." Okay. "But instead, you have given wisdom to the people. You have gave them forbidden knowledge." There's the thing. Okay. They have given them forbidden knowledge, and they were not supposed to do that with us. "Your creations have despoiled the earth. You agreed to a different plan. You betrayed the gods by teaching man to shame the gods. You caused Ishkar to release his reins, that Nemtar should stay the sickness against the holy will of the gods. Therefore, since you imposed your loads upon man, you bestowed noise on mankind. You slaughtered a god together with his intelligence. You must now use your power to create a flood. as your punishment. It is indeed your power that you shall be used against your people. You agreed to the wrong plan. I will have it reversed. Let us make far-sighted Enki swear on an oath to this end, and that his power shall inundate the earth and wipe away all life. Okay, so they made him. Enki, okay, they made Enki swear when he was in the council with the creator gods. Okay, and I don't like using the word gods. Okay, they were known as deities, but to me, honestly, 2019 in November, I think today's the 25th or the 22nd. Sorry, I don't see them as gods. I see them as entities, as extraterrestrials. I don't see them as gods. I see them, they were bigger than us. They had technology, they had understanding, they had the secret wisdom. They created this realm, okay? And they got together and they did a plan, okay? And they decided after what they had done after so many years, it wasn't working. They were tired of it. So they made him swear at the council, okay? He took an oath. So check this out. And if you've read the book of Enki, then you'll know what I'm getting ready to say. But this is from the Atrahasis. I'm paraphrasing, okay? Stick with me, guys. I know I'm at 16 minutes, but this is very interesting. So it says, Enki made his voice heard and spoke to his brother gods. Why should you make me swear an oath? So he was pleading. You understand? He was pleading. Why should I use my power against my people? The flood that you mentioned to me, what is it? I do not even know. Could I give birth to a flood? That is Enlil's kind of work. Okay. When Enlil gets involved, Enlil's the destroyer. Enlil is known as the prince or the god of the air, and Enki was known as the god of the land or the water. Okay. And these brothers, if you've read this, if you've read the backdrop, or if you haven't, if you guys are just watching this, it's a whole big epic. It's like the Hatfields and the McCoys. I'm serious. These two brothers are just like going at it. They came here to this planet. Long story short, they just didn't get along when they were off planet. They brought this crap here to this planet. Okay? But anyway, when he's pleading to the council, he throws in Enlil. Okay. So you already know what's going to happen, right? The flood happened. The deluge happened. So Enlil, with the council, they made him swear with Enki that they were going to flood this earth. Okay, they were going to let this earth be destroyed. Now, what I have read and what my theory is, now this is my understanding, okay? So bear with me now, okay? Okay. I know I'm at 17 minutes now, but bear with me. What my understanding is, they let him cause a deluge, but I think that what happened was a coronal mass ejection, or their home planet, which is they call heaven, which we know is heaven, was coming through the orbit. And it comes through ever so many thousands of years. And I've read 360 years, 33,600 years, and 36,000 years. I'm willing to bet it's around 20 to 36,000 years this planet comes by, with the solar system and all of its sun and its moon. It's like a mini star. It's like a dwarf star. And it's like 17 times the planet of Earth. Well, I'm willing to bet that on that retrograde, or that orbit coming in, they knew that the Earth was going to be having crap going on, and Mars was already experiencing horrible weather, and the Agigi, they set up shop on Mars and the moon and here on Earth. So they had an uprising. It was just like a hot mess, you guys. It just seems like to me, from reading all these different epics and ancient texts, that it was a hot mess back in the day. And it's a hot mess now. But fast forward, so Enki swore. Okay, but he loved mankind. He created us, all right? He created us, him and his son and his half-sister that came down here. They created us after so many years of working and trying to get the chromosomes matched. And so what he did was, it was pretty smart, kind of sneaky, but I like it. He came to Ziusudra, or Noah, okay, because he's got 4 names. He came to Noah and his dream, all right? And he came to him and he said, let me read this part. He says, Now, at the time, he had took a vow, so he kind of got away from Noah. Noah was praying to him and looking for him. And he says in the Atrahasis, now Ziusudra sought his master day and night, but could not find him nowhere. He spoke to him, but he would not answer, for Enki was sworn to silence. Remember, he swore silence when he was at the council meeting. He took an oath, so he couldn't talk to him and tell him. But what he did was, instead, Enki came to Ziusudra, or Noah. Okay, he's known by 4 different names. We've established that. He came to him in a dream and instructed him to go to the temple for which he built, put his ear to the wall, and listen for the God. Now, in the Christian Bible, in the King James Version, it says he came to him and he told him the same thing. So he went to this temple and he put his ear to the wall, and he said, Ziusudra woke and made his voice heard, speaking to his master. Indicate the meaning of the dream and let me find its potence. With that said, Ziusudra went to the temple and placed his ear to the reed wall. Enki spoke through the reed wall and made his voice heard, speaking to his servant. And he said, make sure you attend this message and I shall tell you. Listen constantly to me. Dismantle the house of the god. Build a boat with its materials. Reject possessions and save living things. The boat you build, roof it like the Abzu, so that the sun cannot see in it. The Abzu was the mines, the diamond mines that they came here to refine the gold to save their atmosphere on their planet. He's telling them it's the caves, the mines. It has to be the boat has to have no sunlight. It has to be seaworthy where it doesn't leak. So he says, build the boat, roof it like the Abzu so that the sun cannot see it inside. Make sure upper decks and lower decks. The tackle must be strong, the bitumen strong to give strength. I shall make rainfall on here, take a wealth of birds, a hamper fish for your journey. Enki opened the sand clock and filled it, and he told Ziusudra that the sand needed for the flood was 7 nights' work. Ziusudra received the message. Ziusudra gathered up the elders at his door. He made his voice heard and spoke to the elders. My God is out of favor with your God. Enki and Enlil have become angry with each other. They have driven me out of my house. That's because of the council meeting, okay? Since I always stand in awe of Enki, he told me this matter. I can no longer stay in Shurpak. I can no longer set my foot in Enlil's territory. I must go down to the Abzu and stay with my God. I must build a boat to take me there. That is what he told me. The elders heard these words and called the carpenters and all manner of workmen to his aid. Everything he needed was fetched to him. Everything was built according to plan. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. So we've read 3 different versions of the story, okay? I've given you a little backdrop. I've tried to anyway. And I implore each one of you guys to pick up a copy of the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Atrahasis, and also, of course, you guys probably have your King James Version Bible or some sort of version of a Bible, Christian Bible, in your home. It is just, I'm just in awe. I mean, it's just unbelievable when you start to research and you seek the knowledge and you start putting little jigsaw puzzles or breadcrumbs together, and you get nuggets here and nuggets there. You line everything up and you can read it for yourself. It does not matter that the names have changed. And it's from the different tablets that they've found in different parts of the cities, in different cities. So when you put all of these together, you find that there is a pre-Diluvian cities and then the post-Diluvian city. And I dare say that when you go through and you read this information, it's incredible how you can get the understanding, because if you ask, you shall receive. You know what I mean? If you ask the Creator, you shall receive the knowledge. And I'm sorry, I'm looking off camera. I'm trying to find where I took notes today, and I cannot put my finger on it, but maybe I'll come to you guys at a later time. But it's just unreal, because now what I've done is I've created a map and I've piecemealed together or put together the post-Diluvian cities. Like the first city after the flood was Kish, okay? And Gilgamesh talks about his friend in there. And it is just unbelievable. Now, the Epic of Gilgamesh is over 200 something pages. It is a long read, and I would say if you really want to compare, do the comparison with the Christian the King James Version of the Christian Bible, I would say Genesis chapter 6, and then the Epic of Gilgamesh, I would drop down to like tablet 9 or 10. I think it's 10, because it has 12 tablets, and all of the stories that are leading up to it is talking about his life and his memoirs and all the stuff that he goes through, the different journey that he takes, the journeys and the battles that he does to get to that point where he wants to be immortal because he's lost a close friend. And, you know, so I think we all want to live as long as we can, you know, but it's just crazy because, you know, I look at the cities and I'm thinking, okay, post-Diluvian would be Kish, Babylon, Uruk, Nineveh, and Assur. And all those are still on the maps as of today. Of course, they're in ruins because they're in Iraq, okay? They're in the Middle East, but they're still there. Those cities are still there. And for academia to state that these, you know, these epics were myths is just crazy. How can you pick, you know, I guess it's kind of like a psyop, or the prison guards or the prisoners are policing the prison and they turn into prison guards. It's like they dictate what they want you to know, and they tell you that these things are a myth. And so they push an agenda on you. And, you know, I grew up thinking that this was the only story, that this was the factual, true word of God. And now that I'm researching all this stuff, I see that there's connections all over the place, okay? There is text everywhere. There are ancient texts all over the world that talk about the same thing. And when you put them together, you go, wait a minute, this is not what I was told. And so with that being said, I'm not going to be too long-winded. I wanted to keep it at 30 minutes or less. And I just wanted to tell you guys that I will post the links in the video, comment section in the video, or actually I'll just repost it on my page so you guys can take a look at the information. And then I implore you to go on Amazon or go to Barnes & Noble or whatever bookstore you get your books from, online or in person. Some of these books, I think you will have to like pay for them because they're out of print maybe, and you have to, you know, get them printed and then they'll ship them to you. I'm not sure if you'll be able to go and buy them right off the shelf anymore. So anyway, I didn't want to be too long-winded. I hope this lesson or message finds you guys well. I'm sorry I get so excited because it's like I'm piecing everything together, and it is clear as a glass bulb or a chandelier. I mean, I see the writing right there. I see the light, and I'm able to understand that the text has been manipulated, and what we were told as the unadulterated word of God, okay, it was a word of God, but what God was it? You see what I'm saying? So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for spending some time with me. And as I always like to say, be the change that you want to see all around this planet. Love y'all. Bye.